Aetherion with the Vampire Coast going up against Morgor the Shadow Gave, being brought by Protocol Wired in round 3. It's match point for Aetherion. He's up 2-0 right now, so we'll see. This is definitely a tough matchup for the Beastmen, but I think the Beastmen do have some options. I would say this isn't quite as bad as maybe Vampire counts, in my opinion. But without further ado, let's get to it. So we kind of got the gist of this Vampire army, and for the Warherd of the Shadow Gave, we get the Destroyers of Drakewald with Goreherds with shields. Looks like we have 4 of them, one of them being the Black Horns Ravagers. And then we have some Ungor Raiders in the back, looks like 2 of them. The Butchers of Kalkengard. Not only do they cause terror, which will help them against the terror-causing units you're bound to find in the Vampire Coast, but Silver Shields, which will negate a lot of damage. Also, these Bray Shaman with their white fur are absolutely sick. And since we're here, let's just cover in Bray Shaman of Wild with the Summon Cygor and Jagged Dagger and Summon Manticore. Very popular pick nowadays. And Morgor the Shadow Gave with his 2 Chaos Summons. On the far left flank, we have Chaos Warhounds with Poison, Razor Goreherd, as well as some Harpies. And then we're going to have the same combination on the right flank. Now, as far as deployment goes, Deck Droppers going to have to be running away from these Harpies, but it looks like they'll be shooting them as they flee. I think they have 360 shot. Nope, I lied, they don't. But yeah, mostly the Vampire Coast is going to be deployed in the forest, and we're going to see what this Bloated Corpse does. It is hidden right now and unspottable because it has that speed of Lycos. And as always, I watch Bloated Corpses with great interest because, you know, who doesn't want to see a nicely timed Bloated Corpse go down? And is it going to get on top of these Minotaurs? That was awesome. Oh, the Minotaurs didn't lose any models, so they will be able to regenerate that, but still a nice chunk of damage early on. And now the Bloody Reaver Deck Guard with the Lamprey's Revenge are getting on top of these guys. The Goreherd is routing, and the Minotaurs are going to recognize, like, oh, we need to get the hell out of here. We already lost a model. That Bloated Corpse surprised us. But yeah, right now, a lot of these engagements seem to be going the Vampire Coast way as far as I'm concerned. Syrene's causing that terror, and now we have the Bray Shamans stuck in combat here between Depth Guard with Polearms and Syrenes and the Vampire Fleet Captain. Silastra on top of her rotting Leviathan is going to be feeding him lovely little Beastmen bodies, and she's going to have the Knights Errant summon as well as the Denizens of the Deep to summon more rotting Prometheans. There goes a Manticore summon, and oh, but here comes a rotting Promethean summon. They're going to be appearing right in the center of this formation, adding some much needed mass here. And man, what a fight this is turning into. Silastra in combat with a Manticore and a Cygor right now, but it looks like she's going to be pulling out of there, saying, I'm okay. Song of Enthrallment being popped to debuff the speed and melee attack of everybody in the area of effect. And Silastra, I like this pick for her. She's pretty cool. She has good armor. She's not the caster you see all the time, but I think against Beastmen it can definitely be a viable option. Over here, the Scurvy Dogs have finally come out of their hiding spot. Looks like they will be coming over here and possibly taking out the Ungor Raiders. Let's see if they're able to do that. Don't see anything here to protect the Ungor Raiders, so they may be in for a world of hurt as these dogs come flying into their line and eating them from every way. In these central engagements, we're going to see another unit of rotting Prometheans get summoned onto the field in a lovely wave animation. Now they're onto the back of these Goreherd, and yeah, right now it just looks like the Vampire Coast is really setting the pace for this battle. They're doing a lot of good work. The Cygor summon just ran out, as you saw. Manticore summon is coming up on the close to the end of its lifespan, and yeah, we have the Damned Knights Errant over here. Sorry I missed their initial summon in combat, but as you can see, they're kind of tied up with Razor Goreherd right now. And yeah, there's still just plenty of things to tank up all the damage for the vampires at this point. We have the Bray Shaman of Beast, who is terror routing. We have the Bray Shaman of Wild, who is also terror routing now. And if the Vampire Coast can kill them off before they get their second summons, then wow, I think that will seal the fate of the Beastmen. But already it looks like it may be too little too late. Butchers of Kalkengard are routing off the field. They have 5 models left, so we'll see if they can hold it together. But otherwise, there's just terror all over the place. You know, the Sirens are causing terror. Silastra is causing terror. Everybody is causing terror. And now Morgor the Shadowgave is all on his own. Just in this cacophony of madness, this plethora of seafood all around him. Let's hope he's not allergic to shellfish. And dad jokes aside, this has been a beautifully played game. And just looks like Aetherion is going to sweep the battlefield. So going to be a very convincing 3-0 victory in the final. Between Aetherion and Parkmap, but you know, big shout out here to Parkmap. He played some excellent games to get here. I really enjoyed watching the semifinal games and these finals. But congratulations are in order to Aetherion for being the undisputed champ of tournament number 2 in the Fresh Recruit League. This is the first season we're doing this, so automatically he qualifies for the payoffs. And yeah, it's just some really impressive gameplay from both of the players here. And we'll finish it out with some lovely cinematics. Oh, the Manticore summon is here! One of the Bray Shamans came back. Run, Beastie Boys, run! Yeah. Just not going to be enough for these Beastmen to overwhelm. Feral Manticore is doing some nice damage here to Silastra Direfin, but you know, it's going to run out of its summoning time eventually. Scurvy Dogs are here to help support her now, and you know, as much health as she's down, you know, she still has 4,100 HP left in the bank. But Morgor the Shadowgave, always fighting to the last breath. He has the dreadlocks of doom. The most bad beard of all. Even the Dowie get envious of his chaos beard. We got a Pyrrhic victory to the Vampire Coast. Bloated Corpse for the win. It always wins my heart. And 141 kills on the Scurvy Dogs. Great kills on the Depth Guard. Yeah, I liked that army a lot. And one thing I would definitely recommend is the Bray Shaman on foot. If you're going to bring them on foot, just keep them out of combat. They're just too squishy. But honestly, I think the Chariots can be good here for them to help deal with Depth Guard and things like that. But nonetheless, great games. Mismicroed my summons pretty bad. Hey man, it happens. I'm trying to think like what I would recommend here. I mean, Centaurs or throwing axes aren't a bad idea as far as I'm concerned. But I do think the Chariots, even though you have to be careful not to let them get shot down or anything, what you could do is like bring Ungor infantry instead of Gore Herd. That would free up enough money to probably put these two on Chariot so you can deal with the Depth Guard, because Gore Herd, Ungor Herd, it doesn't matter. None of them they're going to win against Depth Guard, and both of them are going to win against zombies. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Like, if they're both going to die to Depth Guard and they're both going to win against zombies, in my mind, that means bring the cheaper one. Also, you get the stock for the Ungor Raiders. So you save 150 gold per, you get stock, and then it frees up a lot of funds to either bring Chariots. But I like the Razor Gore Herd, I like the Poison Warhounds, I like the Ungor Raiders to support your forces. I definitely like the ROR Gore Herd and the ROR Ungor Spearmen. So I would definitely recommend you keep them. Didn't defend the Raiders? Yeah, that's a good point. The Raiders with those patient Scurvy Dogs, and I'm sure watching the battle replay are like, oh, there they are. But yeah, those Scurvy Dogs sat out in the trees for a while. You know, maybe they were forgotten, but either way, it worked well. I'm honestly think he did leave them there on purpose for a while, and then yeah, once saw those archers coming into play, send them out, and obviously they got their value there. But yeah, Scurvy Dogs were going insane. All right. Doof. Yeah, I was deliberate. Cool. That's what I thought, Aetherion. But man, great games to both of you guys. And once again, people in the chat, give some love to Aetherion there. I love that bloated corpse play initially. Got some good damage. But yeah, Scurvy Dogs, obviously the MVPs there. But as I say that, it's also the Depth Guard were just like crushing everything they came into contact with. And the Sirens obviously just causing terror everywhere. So yeah, I think it's a tough matchup for Beastmen, but I've definitely seen good Beastmen players do it in a convincing fashion. Oftentimes with a lot of Centaurs or throwing axes, I've seen people bring 4 of those and then like 4 raiders, or 5 raiders even. And then what the throwing axes do is means like, oh, is that a big crab? Is that a rotting Promethean? Oh, is that a rotting Leviathan? Well, I have all the axes in the world to kill it off. Not only that, if there aren't crabs on the battlefield, then you can use them against Depth Guard. And if there aren't Depth Guard, then, you know, you can probably just focus on the hero with them or something like that. But overall, I do think Centaurs is great with throwing axes, can be very useful in this matchup.